Hello friends, welcome back to our channel, and today I want to quickly take you through the changes and improvements that we've made to our plugin, which is JetAppointments JetAppointments front-end management plugin. We call it next JetAppointment front-end management. And we already had a video that we did a few months ago of the previous version, whereby you were supposed to do a couple of things manually. Number one, build a query in JetEngine Query Builder, which you were supposed to use a REST API query because the other ones do not work as much as you would want them to. And of course, the REST API query also did not get everything correct 100%. So we decided to go back on the drawing board and make a few changes. So this is what you will have on the front end for your provider. So this is a data table that lists all the appointments for that provider or staff, and you can now switch, or your providers can switch between list and calendar mode, as you can see on your screen right now. So that is an additional feature that we just put up, and you can see we no longer have or require you to configure the action buttons manually because they are now built inside the table. So as you can see, we have edit, accept or confirm, reject or cancel, and information model. That's right there. And here is the good news about this thing. It is that now you decide what you actually want. I think there's a network problem or something. I don't know. That was a glitch, I suppose. So basically, yeah, that was a glitch. So you have to decide everything that you want to be shown on this model as well as on this table, and I will show you that in just a second. So this is the backend of the plugin, and the first thing that you will have to do is do some few mappings here. That is the provider meta table and the provider column or staff column. So where do you get this? You will first have to have created your post type, because when you go to the plugin settings, you are supposed to have the services post types and provider post type. So provider post type, you will have created that beforehand. So in your post type, what you will basically have to do is make sure you enable custom meta storage, this here. Then you will copy the custom table name, but remove the prefix so that it's just this as I have here. That's what you put there. Then the provider column, your provider post type, you will have to also include these fields, that is the staff ID and staff email, or provider ID and provider email, to any other custom meta fields that you will have on your provider post type. So what you will also have to do is you will have to fill in the provider's ID and provider's email when you create the posts for each provider, whether it's automatically or manually. So that is what you add there as the for provider or staff ID. So that is the only thing you need to do in terms of configuring this plugin and your post types and all that. Then for the appointments table, if you come to these Jet appointment settings and you go to tools here at the bottom, you will see that you have a chance, or you have the freedom to include as many custom columns as you want to these appointments table. And this is how it works. All the custom columns that you add here will also be available for you to select in these other configurations down below here. So let me just start with the tables here. So the staff or provider appointment table, that is exactly where we started off. So this is what you see here, and you can configure or customize everything as you want to appear here on the front end. So nothing is hard coded in this thing. So the ID, service, client, whatever, all the columns that I've said, they are available for you here. Now let me just say this. So if you want the column to have a different label rather than what it's saved in the database, then you just need to type it in on this right hand side. You can rearrange them from here, move it up or down. That is entirely up to you. Then for instance here, instead of using slot, I'm using start time and end time. So these are custom. Okay, so that is the providers table. Then the providers appointment model, you also have an opportunity to decide what you want the providers to see on that model. Everything that you add here or remove, it's exactly what will appear there, as well as the labels that you will add here, the custom labels that you will add here as well. Then the client table is exactly the same thing, but there's a slight difference here when it comes to appointment time. I'm basically using time because in this system, we allow clients to book appointments based on their time zone. And for that reason, because those details are saved in Jet Appointments meta table. Okay, so Jet Appointments meta table, that's where those details are saved. And for the time, we do not have separate columns like all rows that store the start time and end time, or slot and slot end. We just have provider, or I mean, we just have client local time. So client local time, that's exactly what we pull when we use this column called time here. So do that if you design your system in the same manner. Otherwise, you can still use slot and slot end. And this is the here is the good news. If by any chance the client does not have custom or does not use their local time zone, the system will automatically fall back to the provider's details. That is the slot start, I mean the slot, which is here, slot and slot end. That is what will be recorded or shown as the appointment time. So never worry about that. Then down here for the client as well, you can configure the model. The model, I've already shown you what the model is. So the model is basically this here, the appointment information model. This is the model. So everything that is displayed here is controlled by what you actually configure here in the backend setting. So you decide what you want to show on the other side. And here is something important to mention. So for instance, I have a custom column called appointment status. Okay, and Jet Appointments has a column called status, which is payment status. So if your system has been designed in a way that appointments require clients to pay before they can be moved forward, then in your providers in your provider's model, you will have to include that. You'll have to include this column here called payment status. So the payment status, it's basically the payment status, or the column that JetAppointments refers to as status, which stores the payment status for your appointment. Once you do that, and let me just refresh this page, then we'll come back here and see what that is. It means the provider will have that drop down with options about the appointments, just exactly as you will see them, or rather this exactly the same way you can access them from the backend. Okay, so the provider can now do this. Payment status, they can change. But again, of course, if your system is configured or it's integrated with WooCommerce, then I believe once payment is successful, this should also be automatically updated based on the order status of your appointment when it's happening. So your provider will not really have to do any of this here. Of course, your system will have been designed in such a way that they know exactly how to go about this. So payment status, this is exactly what will happen if your system works with payments. If it's not working with payments, then you don't need to add this, and you can just leave the defaults as is. And for the status, appointment status, you will create that table and you will have your own values based on how you work with your system. So for me, I don't need this. I will just remove it like that, and I will save the changes. So then down here we have other stuff like the table appearance. This is useful if you are using shortcodes and you want to make a few changes on the appearance of your tables. So you can adjust the header font size, the body font size, the header background, the header text color, and the controls font size, and the row over background. So these are the basic stylings or appearance that you can adjust. Then we have something called dashboard appointment cards, which I will show you in a short while, that you can also do the settings here or your configuration based on what you want if you use shortcodes. If you use Elementor, then we have the following widgets that are available for you to use, all these here, but just bear in mind that provider actions and client actions are now legacy, although you can still use them if you want to. And to learn how those work, you can refer to the previous video. I have the link attached in the description down below for those who want to go back and check it. And I also have it somewhere on the screen there. You can just hit that and watch it. Okay, so that is that, and all things here, as I've said, they are now 100% configurable, so nothing is hard coded. Most of the things here that you would like to change can be changed, including the action buttons if you use shortcode. So that means if you're not using Elementor, then using a shortcode, just do the changes here, save, and that will reflect when you drop in that shortcode wherever you wanna put that. So for the thing here, we said they can switch between list and calendar mode, so like that. and it works just the same. So the user is at liberty to decide what they want to use. Then about the card is just something additional for you to use on your main dashboard, so that the user can have a chance to see the upcoming appointments, and you decide how many. For instance, for me, this is the card here. So the user decides, or rather you decide how many you want to use, because they are listed in a grid. So you will do a few things. So number one, you can decide how many appointments to list in the grid. That is one. Number two, you can decide how many cards. Let me show you, we have here. So the columns, I mean, you decide how many appointments. So those are the cards to display. Then you can decide how many columns do you want in each grid. That is on desktop and on tablet. On mobile devices, of course, they are stacked on each other. So that is all that I wanted to mention. So everything is available here on GitHub. You can come here and get the code, the plugin, by just getting it from there. So hit the releases here and go download that version that we have there, 119, and you can go through what we've just written here. Of course, I've told you about the shortcodes, and these shortcodes are actually here in the shortcodes tab on the plugin settings, so you can just copy any of them from here. So thank you for your time, and let me know if you have any questions, if you have anything that you would or maybe some of you are wondering how does that look for clients. Let me just log out here and quickly log in as a client before I can wrap up this video, just to show you how clients also see appointments on their end. There's a very slight difference between what they see and what they do not see. So this is 26. There's a very slight difference. So let me just quickly log in and 5, 1, 2, 6, 7, 7, so that you can see how they see those as well. Okay, so here we go. This is the card. So that is the card for the upcoming appointments. If there is no appointment, it will just write there no upcoming appointments and stay like that. So the client can reschedule by hitting that. Yeah, they can reschedule here. They can select time zone and all these other stuff just from here. So, and just hit save. Then they can cancel an appointment if maybe they want to do that, and they can use this to view more appointment information, just like that as well. And then they can go to actual. Now that depends with how you will have done your navigations on your system and all that, but this is their listings for appointments. So you can see for them their action does not have that accept or confirm button. That's what it's missing, but everything else is available. And also the slight difference that they have when it comes to rescheduling appointment is that the client can change their time zone, but a provider cannot change a client's time zone. So that is just how it works. And yep, so they can switch between list view and calendar view as well, and all the appointments are fetched in real time when you switch the months like that. And if there is no appointment, it will be a message will be shown there, no appointments found for this month. So that is how this thing works, and that's all. So if you have any questions about this thing, feel free to ask me in the comments section down below. And as I've said, get the plugin from GitHub and play around with it. And that's all. So thank you for your time, and see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.